So with question 12, again, we're working with rational functions. We have the function f of x equals -5 plus 1 over x. Notice that this parent function actually was the y equals 1 over x. So when we talk about y equals 1 over x, notice how the domain restriction is x cannot equal 0, so it's going to be a vertical asymptote. Notice how the degree of the top is 0, the degree of the bottom is 1. So since the degree of the bottom is bigger, that means there's this horizontal asymptote as well that it can't touch. So if we graph some points here, if we graph 1, we get 1. And what happens is this graph cannot go outside those two boundary lines, so it kind of makes this graph. If I pick a -1, that's going to be a -1. So the graph also is going to be stuck between those two boundary lines. So that's kind of a rough sketch of it all. So what happens is we now have this -5 applied to the outside of it. So what should happen is this graph should just move down 5. So what I'm looking for is a graph that looks like this, that goes down 5. So looks like this one's done. It's going down 5. It's hard to see that one. See if I can make that a little bit bigger. And you kind of see the blue goes through here and through here. Yeah, that's the one that kind of shows it down upward 5. This one's going up 5. So that one looks like the closest. It's not a very pretty picture of the graph. That's what we should be seeing there is that. Now you have this enlarge button and keep hitting that plus button as many times as you need to make the graph look a little bit better. Go ahead and minimize this back down a little bit. So we should have in, this is going to be the graph that looks the best. So again, I can also type in -5 plus 1 divided by x on my graphing calculator and graph it. And you should see that it kind of does that thing. So notice that this horizontal asymptote now becomes a boundary line down here at this spot. The vertical asymptote didn't move, but the horizontal asymptote did move because of the shifting of downwardness. So as far as the domain goes, remember that's the domain restriction is the x. So let me make this a little bigger. It's a little too small. So what is the domain of the function? So the domain of the function is going to be every real number but 0. So it looks like that one. So we're going to choose B, and it's going to be just 0 is the only thing that's being excluded. What's the range of the function? Looks like the range of the function is things that kind of go below this -5 and above this -5. So it looks like it's a double inequality thing, or we just exclude the -5 basically. So y cannot equal -5. That looks like the best one. So that's going to be that boundary line that it doesn't touch. Y equals -5. Cannot equal that. So there is a vertical asymptote, and we would say that's going to be x equals 0. So you have to type an equation. There is a horizontal asymptote. So there's only one, and that's going to be y equals -5. So there's only one there. So we have this boundary line here and this boundary line here. So this is the vertical one, and this is the horizontal one. Notice your calculator does not show those asymptotes. So that's where it gets a little tricky, is because you're not supposed to see them because those outlines mean they're really not present. They're just helps you guide it. So since there's a horizontal asymptote, there's not going to be any oblique asymptotes in this problem. So if a horizontal asymptote appears, then there's not going to be a slanted asymptote. Okay. looks like that completes question number 12 there.